So I've got a question for the Republican Party and Republicans in general, and that is, how can you support tariffs? I don't understand. I get that people think that this is a way to re-industrialize the United States. We're going to force people to buy American. We'll make these companies invest in America and build warehouses here and open up factories and give Americans jobs. First, the majority of these jobs, let's just be perfectly clear, are going to be automated jobs. Now, you can say there's going to be an investment here and that there's going to be some job creation, but what you're doing essentially through the tariff process is making everything more expensive, not just imported goods. So we don't understand how the market functions, okay? If I have low-cost foreign competition and I'm a producer in the United States not using any imported goods, which virtually doesn't exist at all in terms of like all the natural resources and everything that goes into production, right? But if you eliminate that low-cost competition, I'm okay to raise my prices, and that's what I'm going to do. The companies, businesses, they want to make as much money as they possibly can. We want a competitive market as the way to control these prices so that they can't just charge whatever they want to. If you start cutting off low-cost competition, you're giving the green light to domestic producers to go ahead and raise prices because they're not being exposed to foreign competition. Furthermore, there are just some things that are going to always be better and more efficiently made in other places. Nobody's thinking we should, grow all of our coffee here, just as an example. Should we grow all of our bananas in the United States? Like, there's stuff that we just need to import. We need to trade with other countries. Tariffs are a terrible idea. Furthermore, you're supposed to be the party of free markets. You're supposed to be the party of competition, of market-based economics. That's who you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be the small government party. This is a massive unilateral tax on all Americans across the board with no congressional approval or oversight. This is not representative government, right? You still have, yes, Donald Trump won the election by the popular vote, the electoral landslide, all those things. That doesn't give him the rights of an emperor. He still has to work with the other two branches of government to get things done. That's why our government is designed the way that it's designed. He is exercising far too much power. And worse yet, why are Republicans who are backing him on this, who are saying this is a good idea, why are no Republicans talking about ways to make it more affordable to do business in the United States? This should be the focus of what Republicans are doing, is a deregulating of the economy to actually make it easier to make things in the United States. For Pete's sake, think this through. We have made it so difficult, so expensive to do business in the United States that it is cheaper for a company to close a factory here, fire all the workers that they hired and trained, deal with all the negative publicity, move that operation overseas, build a new factory and infrastructure, hire new workers, train those workers, and then pay to ship those goods back to the United States. That's how expensive we've made it to do business here in the U.S. That's not just based on cheap labor in other places. That is a regulatory and tax environment that makes it difficult to get things done here. That's why things leave. That's why businesses leave and go to other places. Republicans should be looking at that and going, where are there common sense reductions that we can make in the regulatory and tax burden on our businesses to make it easier to produce things in the United States so that we are actually competitive with these places overseas in areas where it makes sense for us to do things domestically instead of importing. That's supposed to be what Republicans are working on, but they are clearly not. And you should be asking yourself, why is that? If this is the small government, free market party, which I thought the Republicans were supposed to be that counterbalance to the Democrats, you have to be asking that question. And I just don't see enough Democrats challenging Donald Trump on these bad economic policies.